Hello and welcome to We Got a Podcast, a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z. From Earth to Namek to Sadala, we cover it all. My name is Randy.
And now I'm Destroyer God Doug.
Hey, we're the world's strongest under the heavens duo here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, what's new with you, man?
Hey, man. I just got my flu shot.
Hey!
Feeling chipper because last year I had this nice trip down like in a log cabin where a bunch of friends and I go to like once a year. And I got horribly sick last time, and I don't want to do that again, so I got my flu shot to prevent that. Because I got that trip coming up soon myself.
Yeah, I got my flu shot last Thursday, so
nice.
Still got like a week before it's effective, but I did it.
Like I'm leaving in like 10 days, so isn't it like the 10 days what they say until it like takes into effect? I waited until the last possible second to do it.
My thought was at least I'll be ready for Thanksgiving, because you know there's kiddos and stuff that are there, so yeah. You know how it is.
But yeah,
well, that's cool.
What about you, man?
Oh, man, what is new with me? I finished watching an anime last night. The Woman Called Fujiko Mine, which is a Lupin the Third series.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. I mean, it was good in that it was very different from normal Lupin, because it was much more like serious. Like they had a lot of goofs, but I was like, oh, this is a real different tone shift. Was not what I wanted out of a Lupin series, but I thought it was all right.
I've never actually seen any of Lupin. Is that the thieves?
Yeah, that's Ocean's 11, but they're dumb.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
I like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, I got started on it from watching Lupin the Third Part 2, which was the second TV series. They aired that on Adult Swim back in like 2003.
Oh, wow. I must have missed that. It was just like my timeline just said Dragon Ball all the way through, and that was all I ever watched on Adult Swim.
I'm doing some Dragon Ball stuff. I recently started watching Dragon Ball Z Kai Final Chapters because I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that either, actually.
Yeah, it's something.
I think that's missing from my collection, actually. I think that's when I stopped collecting. I need to finish that though, because my collection cannot be incomplete like that.
No, it's a disservice. I finished my collection of that recently, and then I just sat on it for a while. So then I started it up. I don't know. It feels like they could have cut a lot more. But, you know, I just got to the tournament, so there's still a lot more to go. We'll see how that...
I think at the sell point, I was kai'd out. I'm like, I don't need any more of this.
I was just happy because that moved along at a really good clip, so... It was nice.
I was like, if I ever need to show a new person, introduce them to Dragon Ball, this will be what I show them, but I'm not going to watch shit right now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it. I've started playing Forza Horizon 5 yesterday. That's an interesting game.
I don't know why I thought, is that like a combination of Horizon Zero Dawn, but with cars? And like a new game came into my head.
There's robo dinosaurs. It's great.
Yeah, because I haven't beat Horizon Zero Dawn yet. I started it not too long ago, just because it was free on PlayStation a few months back.
Right, and you gotta finish it.
I needed to finish a whole other game so that I could delete that game off of my PlayStation because it only has enough space to handle one game at a time, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that. I hate that. That's what I love so much about my Switch, is that I just bought a memory card. And now I feel like I have infinite memory on my Switch because the games aren't that humongous. They're not 80 gigabytes per game.
You could go get an external hard drive, plug that bad boy into your PS4.
$70, and then that's only a little more space. With the Switch, the games are small enough as it is, so it's not taking up a lot of space.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You should play it, though. I played it last year when it came out on PC, and that game slaps. Yeah, I love it.
It came out during the same time as Breath of the Wild, and that's what ate up all my time.
Same week, actually.
Yeah, same exact week.
So I'm looking forward to Forbidden West. That'll be good. But other than Horizon and Lupin and all that stuff, we're here to talk about some Dragon Ball, per usual, right? Mm-hmm. This time, we're keeping on going with doing our movies, and this time... we're up to Dragon Ball Z, Kami to Kami, or Battle of Gods.
I'm sorry, Battle of the Gods. Get your...
pretty sure it's just
every time I saw Battle of the Gods everywhere, it's like a little trigger.
Oh, tell me about it, man. That was... oof. That's like if you still see somebody these days calling him Bills.
Oh, no.
I know there are some regions where that is what he's named, I guess, but they're also wrong. Oh, it's upsetting. Doug, please take me... It wasn't
that upsetting Battle of the Gods, but it was just kind of... it just stood out, but...
No, Bills is more upsetting. That's my thing.
Yeah. I saw that a lot less, though.
Yeah. Dude, why don't you tell me what this movie's all about? What even happens?
Beerus, god of destruction, has awoken early after a 39-year slumber. Having had a dream about a Super Saiyan God, he sets out in search of this mysterious Saiyan. After visiting with Kaio and eventually ending up on Earth, Goku and friends soon find they are powerless to stop the irritable Beerus. Can our heroes find the Super Saiyan God before Beerus destroys Earth? Because we know the Super Saiyan God is another character that no one knows about and not going to be ending up being someone we know.
What if it was like a Captain Planet situation where they've all come together and they make a new person? And he says
there's like no build up to that at all. It's just like, there's this new character now. He's Super Saiyan God. He's just a god always.
Yeah. Just so people know, this movie premiered in Japan March 30th, 2013. It had been 5 years since Son Goku and his friends' return. It was directed by Masahiro Hosoda, who directed 5 episodes of Z during the Android Cell arcs and did some other stuff. But most importantly, it was written by Akira Toriyama, which is the first animated thing he really had super input on. Which
That's the first
wild.
Japanese name you've said in 30 episodes that I actually knew the name of.
Hey, we got one.
Akira Toriyama.
You know who that is?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think he wrote...
He does Dr. Slump or something.
Yeah, Dr. Slump. Didn't do anything else after that, though.
No.
Well, let's talk about this movie, man. It was the first new movie in forever, and it's hard... We were just got done watching this.
When it first came out, I was ecstatic about it, and it was amazing, and I loved everything about it. It's what I needed.
Exactly. It was what we all wanted, what we all needed, and they did a pretty bang-up job. I don't know what happened, though, man, because we were watching this, and I don't know if I was in a funky mood, but I'm like, man, this movie does not hit as good as I remember it hits.
Watching it in retrospect, thanks to Super, it is a boring film.
I mean, not because Super is this amazing thing and overshadows this movie, but just because, I don't know, it lost the specialness to it. Beerus and Whis are no longer this, cool, new hotness and, they're mysterious. And it's no, they're tired. We've seen them so much.
Was so intimidating in this movie. Especially during the beginning parts. He just felt like a force to be reckoned with and just... a good duo between him and Whis, but now I know him as the two characters that look for food and don't do shit, but just hang around, and it's just, it's such a shame, man.
Right, yeah. It sucks to be a bummer about it, but, that's, this is the first time I've watched this movie in 6 years, since Super had started.
Yeah, I think it has been a while for me, too. I think, maybe it has been that long for me, too. And we should preface by saying we saw the special edition version. Maybe that's also why it felt a little longer. Because we could definitely pick out the scenes and be like, oh yeah, I totally get why this was cut from the theatrical version. This didn't add to the plot at all. At the time of watching it, it was still new Dragon Ball footage because we had nothing else before this. So it was yes, give me more, give me whatever. Give me Oolong doing rock, paper, scissors with Beerus.
Right. And I don't know, man. Sometimes that stuff is funny. Sometimes I'm yeah, that's the humor I come here for. But for whatever reason, tonight I was just I could really do without this bullshit.
No, you and I didn't express to each other. You and I both liked the movie when we first saw it. We were looking forward to it, and both of us, without discussing, are in agreement that this movie did not hold up well. So it can't be just us and our moods. This is definitely in hindsight kind of movie.
Right. It's a bummer, and it's strange because I had brought up this movie feels oh, here's this fan servicey stuff that you love. It's what you wanted, but it's not great. And you brought up, but that's what the OVA that we just watched did. And that's and we liked it then. I'm what's different? I don't know.
I think it is because it's Super. I blame Super 100%. It's not also to say that I'm not a big fan of Super anyway. The only thing that sticks out to me in Super is the Goku Black arc. And then Ultra Instinct, the form. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's not that many highs in Super, but
that's why I'm not clamoring to go read the manga like you're always telling me to do every week.
I mean, the new stuff in the manga is pretty fucking sick. I would definitely, skip all the old stuff. You don't have to read that. You saw
I'll just
the show.
Wait till the movie comes out and then just enjoy the movie instead.
But I don't know. Everything that was special about this movie is just kind of yeah, we know.
Yes,
it's a bummer.
It is.
And I think here's also the thing. Now that I've been blessed with something like Broly, where I'm this is what I want a Dragon Ball to look like. Going back to Battle of Gods, I'm the visuals are not great. And that is one of the big attractions of a theatrical film is the glitz and the glamour and how good it looks. But this just falls so flat compared to that.
This movie does have a lot of moments, though. but
Oh, yeah.
I think at the time I really enjoyed it, but that's also because we didn't have, like I said, we didn't have a lot of new Dragon Ball stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Before this was just the special from 2008. And I don't know, I remember really loving this movie, but now so watching it, yeah, it's just meh.
Yeah, it's a bummer. One of the other things, and this is something that I don't think my opinion has ever changed on, and I'm sorry if it's not a hot take and everybody is kind of in this camp, but Sumitomo does not do a good job for scoring this movie. If you like it, cool. I'm so happy for you. It does nothing for me, and it bums me out.
I'm not a big music guy myself, and it to me as well, like it just felt like somebody taking out the track and just throwing it in the movie.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice not calling yourself a big music guy since you make AMVs.
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Like, you don't take into account like the background music that's going on. You want it to be inoffensive and just be part of the experience, not something that calls attention to itself, right?
Yeah, but I felt this one was too inoffensive.
Yeah, it didn't do enough, and it didn't highlight anything well enough.
Yeah, there's definitely that one part I was telling you while watching that when Beerus comes to the party, Bulma invites him and Whis to enjoy. And then it's the mood you're supposed to be going for is that this is a scary time. Vegeta's worried, Vegeta's watching, making sure everything is going fine. So the track that plays is a very like scary, like on edge kind of track, but they don't show a lot of Vegeta's reaction. They just show Beerus and Whis having a good time, dancing and being part of the festivities. So it doesn't mesh well with the track that's playing. Like, cause you see what they're going for, but I don't know, it just felt really weird. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I would agree. There's something about that scene. Seeing it now, I'm like, doesn't work. And maybe that is what it is. Maybe it's not so much the music. It is just the lack of tension from Vegeta being there, seeing things happening. Or yeah. I mean, it's also maybe because we know this movie and like Beerus, we're like, I mean, there's no tension because we know what's going to happen. But
yeah, I'm wondering if that's it too, because as soon as Vegeta started dancing, none of us laughed. We're just like, all right, let's get through this dance segment.
Oh, I didn't laugh out loud, but I liked it. I like it every time.
But no, I mean, for me, I was like, all right, let's just get through this scene that I know.
I'll take this over him making takoyaki and stuff, which I liked, but the dancing thing is funnier.
I think I might have skipped that episode while watching Super.
Nani?
I know it exists. I know instead of dancing, he does cooking, but I don't think I've actually seen it. I think I've just seen a bunch of images on Twitter of people posting him cooking. But that's it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. There's other, like, I dig the fight on Kaio's planet of Goku versus Beerus. Like, yeah, that's always good. I
like the introduction of Goku was fantastic. He felt like Goku. He felt like that Waku Waku spirit in him, and just it was
the first
fantastic.
time on screen Goku felt like manga Goku, which was you know there's a big difference between how Toriyama writes him and how Koyama writes him, and it was nice to have.
And Matsumoto like voiced him so perfectly with everything he's saying. It was so much energy that she had. It's such a Goku energy. And then I also love when he's trying to talk to Beerus and Whis all politely. And in the Japanese version, you just get the little des at the end of it.
He talks slowly and like really trying to pick the right words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like me when I'm trying to speak Japanese because I have a 2-year-old's grasp of the language. So
and then cut to the end of the movie, and then the rest of Super, where he doesn't talk to him like that ever again.
Yeah, it's that part's good, and like the whole fight thing, other than the music tracks, but that's just me. I just liked the introduction of Beerus here, and also you had mentioned like when he's first waking up and stuff that like, man, he's really cat-like in this, and they really dropped the ball with that later. Where he's just
that's totally
the
gone
goofy,
after that.
Strong guy who likes food. There's no cat parts to him.
And then that made me question at the end of the movie where he's going back to sleep. I'm like, now that they introduced like the other 12 or 13 universes, are all the other God destroyers like that? Do they go to sleep for that long and not? Because if they're awake, are they A, destroying a lot of planets, or B, doing nothing and are like not as irresponsible as Beerus is? Like, not irresponsible. You know how Beerus is. He's just like out there killing whatever he wants to kill that annoys him. Are all destroyer gods like that? And if not, what are they doing?
I mean, they're doing what all the other gods in Dragon Ball have always done, which is not being good at their jobs.
Yeah,
nobody has ever done well.
Anything. Just giving a call to your respective Kaioshin, like, hey, you still alive? Cool.
Great. Good. I mean, obviously they know, otherwise they'd be dead.
Yeah, that's true.
That we learn later from more lore and stuff from things like this.
Kami and Piccolo thing all over again.
Gosh, where do I want to take it from there? It's nice to see everybody here in like this party situation again, which is like what we got that already in
special. It's the special of 2008 though. This felt like just another repeat of that.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question. Something that wasn't in that special that is something new to the table here. How do you feel about Pilaf, Mai, and Shu being back, but they're kids now?
I liked it. That was a breath of fresh air. They do. I mean, they do come back for like GT, but they play more of a bigger role in that. And no, yeah, I enjoyed them. What did you think?
I think overall I do like it. We had said like it clearly wasn't a mood thing because we were both feeling that. When we were watching this, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, they're kids trying to steal it. Okay, fine, whatever. I think. The weird thing is Mai and Trunks, because Mai is a 41-year-old woman.
So weird.
So
no matter how they coat that, they just keep sweeping it under the rug and either explain it in a way that maybe they turn into kids, but their minds also turn into kids, but they still remember things. They know they're 40. She even mentions that she's like, oh yeah, I'm 40 years old when Bulma asks her how old she is.
Yep. Shu brings up that he's glad they're younger because he had already outlived the lifespan of a dog.
He would have died. That's a little funny comment. But then, yeah, it's just that even watching through Super just didn't fly well with me. It's like, and now she's fawning over the 24-year-old Trunks from the future, but she's still 40. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Even the older in Trunks in Future Trunks' timeline, that Mai that's the same age as him, it's still weird because she's still supposed to be like.
Why is she that young in Trunks' timeline as well? You know?
Yeah, I think they explain that in something, but
yeah, they probably do. They have to, or they don't, and it's just like whatever. It is because it is.
Sorry, anime tropes. I don't I don't like your old lady in a young girl body. That doesn't mesh well. It's too many questions.
Yeah,
a morale and
exactly. I'm just kind of bouncing around here. Other things that we were kind of like, that's weird, is Shenlong knowing of what is going on and what Super Saiyan gods are.
It's super charming when I first saw it, but now I'm just like, okay, there's questions. Does Shenlong have lore? Did he used to be like a mythical dragon that lived across the worlds? And they got trapped into the Dragon Ball job and just, I'm just going to sleep from now on, now that I'm trapped with this job, and has accepted it. Or is he just attached to Dende? Is he only created from Dende? Like, that's... I know Dende created the Dragon Balls, but did he create
his knowledge base?
Yeah, because I guess the gods, the Namekians, can also create the dragon because they need a little clay miniature of the dragon to base it off of.
Right.
But are they stealing something's like soul and trapping it in a body, or are they creating it from scratch? You know what I mean?
Right. My joke is that every dragon that's made also gets a nice little copy of the Namekian Book of Legends, which doesn't fucking matter, apparently, because that's never brought up again.
Yeah. They just have all that knowledge, but apparently Dende didn't read it, and so he doesn't know what's Super Saiyan God.
Yeah, because he should have been able to answer things.
It would have been hilarious, but it'd have been too hilarious for Dragon Ball for them to be like, to show Dende, like, oh, I know about the god, but then everyone just brushes him aside. They're like, whatever, Dende, like, and then like he's like the entire movie, he's trying to explain
whatever god of our world.
Whatever, we're gonna ask the dragon. Get out of here, Dende.
Because it's cooler, and also we gotta have a dragon in this movie, otherwise
a little too meta, but yeah,
right, yeah, it's odd. How about we talk about Super Saiyan God? I know that when we did our ranking for favorite Super Saiyan forms, I'm pretty sure God was pretty high up for both of us.
I think, yeah.
Overall, I still love the form, but as we were watching the movie, I had the thought of like, they're not really doing a lot to sell us on this form being special or neat in any sort of way, because he achieves it.
Yeah.
And now he can fight with Beerus without being one-shotted. But otherwise, he's like getting in a hit or two, and Beerus doesn't seem phased, and then Beerus is just smacking him around the whole time.
Yeah. And like the fight when he just reverts back to normal and Super Saiyan was spectacular, that the Super Saiyan God fight didn't amount to anything. And I think as I'm seeing the form, I'm thinking to myself that, oh, this is it. This is all we're going to see of the God form, because we know in retrospect about Super Saiyan God Blue.
Mm-hmm.
It was too short-lived, this form.
It definitely was. I think this has always kind of been a problem, quote unquote, with Dragon Ball since after the Frieza arc, is this thing of like, well, we introduce this transformation, now we got to one-up ourselves. And how do we do that? We just pull the same trick every time. Oh, there's another form. What's different about it? It's stronger. All right.
Yeah, but I feel like it was at least paced better in the series. Like, whereas in the movies, it's just like, okay, movie 1 of the Super Saga, it's we got God, and then the second movie, it's going to introduce Blue already. Like, it's no time to breathe for any form.
That's very true. And I think that's going to play into our thoughts on the Broly movie, in that they didn't introduce a new form, which was good because that's not the solution to everything. Like, yeah, but what if there was a new form?
Yeah, basically.
You know? I mean, we had fusion. That's different. But it's not just, well, give him a new hair color, call it a day.
And that's what I was like talking to you while watching the movie. What's mentioned to you is that, what did Dragon Ball do in the first, 250 episodes with Dragon Ball OG and then beginning of Dragon Ball Z, where there was no forms?
Yeah.
There was plot back then. We didn't need transformations upon transformations. I mean, you mentioned the Holy Spirit Water that gave Goku a boost, but besides that, we didn't rely on transformations to tell our stories.
No. We just watched characters work out sometimes and then come back, and then they did cool shit, and we were like, hell yeah, that's rad, which is
But Dragon
good.
Ball has evolved into this series that is now based upon transformations.
It's all about the merchandising. You make a new transformation,
to also
you can make a new
Doug
toy.
figures. I'm like, God dang it, now I gotta buy the blue variant with his Kaioken aura around him.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
If they made a line of figures of Goku in his jogging suit, but in all of his different forms,
even that was short-lived. That I thought he was going to fight Beerus in that outfit, and then nothing. He just goes back to his original gi, which I love, and it's great to see. But I think in hindsight, I'm like, no, let me see him in that. And then later on in the movie, they show, Goten and Trunks are dressed in their party attire, and I was hoping that they were going to fight in that clothing, but nope, they strip off their party clothes and have their gis under there because it's fucking 80 degrees outside and they don't care about heat, and then immediately fuse into a character that's has its own clothing style. What was the point of taking off your party clothes, going into your fighting gi, and then doing a fusion immediately afterwards? There was no point in that at all.
Well, it was to look at the camera and be like, hey kids, remember this? Remember how they look? This is how they look. Do you
exactly
remember?
What it is. Such a shame. Such wasted potential and stupidity. And
yeah. It's a whole other thing, but I also am upset that the new outfits introduced in Resurrection F get thrown under the bus, after the Universe 6 tournament. They're like, well, no, never mind, go back to the original stuff. Like, no, this is your chance. You can sell more figures.
Like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a huge deal.
And it's like, I don't know.
It wasn't too different from what they wore. It wasn't drastic like Goku's End of Z blue outfit.
But it's just a nice way of... Yeah, it's just a nice way of showing this is a new thing, and this is what this is our new look now,
Exactly. Let's let the characters evolve, and including their clothing.
It's like if in Naruto Shippuden, after they go and fight Sasuke, they're like, what if we just went back to our old clothes though?
Can you imagine not getting to see Sasuke's chest through that huge V shirt,
right?
That he has in Shippuden. He went from turtleneck to showing his bare chest.
Look, that's called character growth, and also chest gains.
Chest gains, baby. You got to show them off if you got them.
Exactly. I don't know, man. What else do you want to talk about this movie? I feel bad because
shitting on it, but we're coming from a place where we used to love this movie to death when it first came out. But I don't know, man. I wish I
could go back in time because it was such a good movie until 6 years ago when I last watched it. It was still great, and now it's I don't know, because it's not like I watch it a ton. Like I said, it's been 6 years. Granted, before that, I did watch it a lot because it was all we had. It was all we had.
It was a new thing, but I still am confident that it's Super's fault, that it oversaturated us with Beerus and Whis as characters, as these forums, as this storytelling vibe, and yeah.
I don't understand why we had to keep Beerus around for everything, mostly because the movie ends with him going back to sleep, and it's cool, he'll be out for another 30 years. We don't have to worry about him being the solution to problems anymore.
Yeah, I thought in the end of this one, he said he was going back to sleep for 3 years. I'm like, okay, great. Now, but no, he shows up again for Frieza, and that happens within 3 years, doesn't it? Resurrection F?
Yeah, has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he doesn't do anything in other ones. It'd be great if they use them sparingly. Like if he came back to kill the Supreme Kai, the Kaioshin of the Goku Black. If like he came there and did the Kaioshin thing, and you know, it's just sparingly. But to make him, I understand that the character was awesome and loved him, and when they said that he'd be appearing more often, we all thought, yeah, that's freaking awesome. We love these characters. Mm-hmm. But you gotta learn when to hold things back. You gotta learn to not answer every single question. Especially to questions we didn't have in the first place. That's a lot of what Super is doing, and this movie did a lot. Wasn't there like a bunch of like things that it's like, oh, I didn't care about that, but why are you telling us this? And
right,
I don't know.
Yeah, you got to leave the audience wanting more, and then they did, and they're like, well, scrap that. Now we're just gonna. It's all you're ever gonna get.
And Dragon Ball did that great. There's a lot of mystery, so we can have a lot of conversation about what do you think is happening here and what's going on here. But this one, nah.
Yeah, not to put it like I don't think that. Kaio is at the same level of like coolness and appeal that Beerus has, but like Goku goes and trains with him, and like he talks with Goku and stuff back and forth during the Frieza stuff, but after Frieza's destroyed, like we don't talk to him for a long ass time, and it's not until like, hey, we need to ask you about finding Namek, and he's like, oh, why? And they're like, this is the shit that's going down, and he's like, oh, I didn't even know because I've not been a character. You know,
the best part is I didn't even realize that until I think like later on in my fandom, when like I went back to watch the series again. Like, oh yeah, Kaio is just not. I always figured he was there all the time, but no, he wasn't. He was just completely. They didn't need to talk to him, so they didn't bother him.
Yeah, exactly.
So when he came back for that, it was fantastic.
But oh well, this is what they've decided to do, and like that's just gonna be it.
But do you remember? Did you ever go see the movie in theaters when they came out in America?
No, I decided to be a hipster asshole that was like, I've already downloaded it before. I've seen it a bajillion times, and I don't need to watch it in a dub.
I watched that. I went like I think. 2 or 3 times to watch it, like because the first time I went with a friend, and I was very surprised with how well the dub was, how good the dub, how well. They look at me trying to speak proper English and using the well at the wrong time. How good the dub was, and that I think that was a turning point in my fandom again. Where I'm like, okay, the dub is finally good enough to watch. Like, I understand, like, I finally got a grasp of everything where I started out as a dub fan, moved on to a strictly only Japanese fan, to then go into like, okay, I'll just watch whatever is good, and they're both good. They both have their pros and cons. From Super onwards, not the Z is still, like, awful. Well, that's not their fault. That's very early on in their skill set. They've had 30 years to master their or 20 years to master their crafts.
Exactly. Yeah, I think my turnaround was with Kai, where I picked up like the first set of that, and I'm like, this is actually pretty good. I'm really impressed with that. And I didn't seek it out or anything, but like, when Battle of Gods came to theaters, like, I don't really need to see that dubbed. But then Resurrection F came out, and I'm like, well, I hadn't, that was new, and that hadn't been a release yet on home media in Japan, so there's no way for me to.
Yeah, but this was the first time that. This is one of the rare times that Dragon Ball Z was going to be in theaters at all. So I'm like, hell yeah. Like,
no, you're correct. Like I said, I was being the hipster of being an idiot. And like, nah, I'm better than that. Whatever. I should have gone. That was a dumb choice on my part.
Nah,
at least I went to go see Resurrection F.
It was fun. Yeah.
And I went and saw Broly twice.
Yeah.
I saw Broly twice. It was great. But man, okay. Here's another thing. We say that we don't need everything explained to us. What the fuck happened at the end of that fight? Like, did Goku just tank the hit and like that's it? Or did he absorb it? Did he just...
I don't care because Goku doesn't care. Like, literally the conversation was, what the hell was that? And Goku's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, then I don't know either. I don't care what the hell that was.
I also had a different interpretation of this movie watching it the first time, which was, Beerus points out that he lost the form a while ago, but he's absorbed that power into him, so he never even noticed. So I was like, oh, so we don't need to transform anymore? Is this like a thing where now I'm always a god power, but I don't need to do that?
But he went Super Saiyan.
Yeah, then he went Super Saiyan. But like,
they didn't go anywhere with it though. They didn't expand on that in Super. They just kind of just left that as is. That could have been an interesting idea.
Yeah, they never.
There would have been a lot of interesting ideas. The whole not being able to sense God Ki would have made for interesting fights where, in the Frieza saga where like Frieza's firing eye beams at Goku like through clouds, but missing him because he can't see him. And Frieza doesn't know how to sense energy. It could have been the reverse where Goku was down in that position where he can and he's missing shots because he can't sense the energy. But no, they fight like every other regular Dragon Ball fight.
Yep. Exactly. And like, I don't think in all of this crap we've ever gotten a real good like explanation of God Ki. It's just kind of been a loose thing that fans kind of picked up on, and like it has rules kind of, but it's like, I don't know. Either explain it or just throw it out. I don't care.
Yeah, if you told a casual viewer that it's different energy, I'd be right there with them. Like, I don't see the difference in the energy that they're using. They're still teleporting with each other, and I will point out, I did like it dawned on me while we were watching this, because we're like, why does he have to do the instant transmission thing? Like, just you don't have to do that. But then I was like, wait, he can only do that if he can sense him, and he's only started using that in his fight with Beerus after he's absorbed the God powers. So now he can sense God Ki. You're saying he can sense God Ki, yeah? Unless he's just sensing his own ki and like approximating where he needs to be,
right? Because he's just moving. I need to be 10 feet there.
10 feet from myself over there. But I was telling you how I'm not a fan of him using his two fingers to like on his forehead anymore. I'm like, I feel like he's past that at this point. Like, he doesn't need to put those fingers up there to concentrate. Or another viewpoint of that is that who cares if he's using instant transmission or if he's going super fast? It's the same exact effect to the viewer.
Right.
What is the point of distinguishing? That's just fan service to be like, oh my god, he's using instant transmission, he's using that, it's like, no, we don't, I don't know, that feels too fan servicey, where it doesn't make sense for the character to use. But it's Dragon Ball. I
hear ya.
But it's Dragon Ball.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we read what other people had to say?
The ending with the manga in the credits, I thought I thought that was a lot cooler the first time I saw it too. Everything about the movie was like, wow, this is cooler the first time I saw it than it was now. And I think that's all just retrospective, because I've seen a lot of like Viz themselves releases some videos on their YouTube channel of like manga panels of Dragon Ball sometimes, and like the animation with that far surpasses what we just saw in the end credits of this movie. Like, because there's animation to it, but with the credits here, it didn't. It just felt like something I could do, which isn't saying much.
Don't sell yourself short, but like, I mean, it was an interesting take.
Yeah,
it was kind of cool. Just
it was cool to see the Kanzenban in the end of a movie. That was pretty awsome. I was like, oh, I own those.
Right. I got that.
And Randy doesn't.
Rad. That's true. I've got it digital from some places.
No, but the music, also with music, of course the song I was telling you about that I love, that plays when Goku goes Super Saiyan.
Yes.
After losing God Ki.
Kibo no Uta.
Man, that song still hits hard. That song is fantastic. Also, the animation is finally up to standards.
Shida cut makes me jizz so hard.
It's so good. There's a little too much motion blur for my liking, but I think that's on purpose. But the fluidity of it, the back and forth through the clouds, the camera movement, all that was just top tier shit. Beautiful.
Chef kiss. Mm-hmm. God, that is the crown jewel of this movie, if anything. Is
and then as soon as they go to space, they're done. With that.
It's not
just
cool
goes back
anymore.
To static punch.
Yep.
Which is a shame, because that was the climax when he's going to do his Kamehameha, but they... Yeah.
Yep.
Oh god, in the CGI part.
Oh.
Getting a taste for Dragon Ball superheroes.
No.
It won't be that bad.
I kind of want to go back and revisit this fight in Super, because like I remember there were some I think were cool parts of like both of them fighting so hard that the universe was going to shatter if they... I'm like, granted, people get even stronger in this series after that, but I don't know, just added a cool element to it of like they needed to figure out how to fight without having their energy go everywhere and destroy everything.
Oh, really? I think after you saying that, I totally did not watch any of the Super episodes up to a certain point. I'm like, you know what? I've seen the movie. I'm good. I'm not getting anything out of these episodes. Watching them week by week, it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, man, do you want to take a break and then we'll hear what other people had to say?
Yeah, let's take a break.
All right, let's do it. And we're back to hear what you guys all had to say about Battle of Gods. Hopefully it's better than us.
I wonder if they have the same feeling as we do, or I wish we knew like if they watched it recently too, because before we saw this movie today, I was 100% on board with it and thought it was going to be great.
I came into it hyped, and then I left disappointed, which isn't no great. So Ashley Denoa says, never forget Bills and Gohan's hair being gold in one of the trailers before being altered to black. The joys of 2013.
That was like so much speculation going on because that's all we had at the time. Like, oh my god, Gohan's going back to Super Saiyan? Is this going to be plot relevant? No, it's just a mistake.
Was it a mistake, or is that what they did? And then someone
didn't talk to someone.
Yeah, there's enough people like, no. And they're like, oh shit, you're right. I guess we got to change that. Otherwise people are going to bitch. Which is true. I was the one that was bitching.
There's a tweet from you and distinctly bitching about it. I'm
sure there was. I had Twitter at the time.
I'm sure from all of us, yeah. It was the only thing we could like point out, like that's not right.
Exactly.
And then we flash forward to Trunks with blue hair.
John Rogers at MagicBox67 says, this was the first time many of us got to follow a theatrical Dragon Ball film from announcement to release. Magical. This is the best that Beerus and Whis ever have been portrayed. The extended edition is great too, but sorry, Norihito Sumitomo, I still don't like your music.
I know you agree with him on that.
I do. And this was the best that Beerus and Whis had, and then they got fucking used way too much.
Yeah, now they're just food lovers and
they got moochers. They got reduced to two-dimensional characters, which is a bummer.
They were so interesting in this. And the voice actors were top-tier voice actors. They haven't been on Dragon Ball stuff before, right? This is their first intro to Dragon Ball?
I'd have to double-check. Well, Masakazu Morita, I believe, is the guy who voiced Whis, if I'm getting the name correct, and he voiced Table in the 2008 special. So,
oh, that's right. We just talked about that last time.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Isn't that so cool that I don't think I've realized that until you mentioned it, that this is the first time we saw from announcement to release. That was fun times. I even made a crappy YouTube video, when we just got the splash image of a silhouetted dragon that had the letter D in the background of it. I'm like, oh my god, us in the Dragon Ball community are speculating that this is going to be a Dragon Ball movie. This is going to be great.
I mean, it was wild. And then also it took a couple extra, a year and a half for it to come out in North America, likely because of the whole Fox thing. So it was figuring out, is it big enough for Fox to care? Are they just going to give it to Funimation to take care of?
I kind of remember that. Man, but I just remember it being... I think it was good times though, just all around. It didn't feel like forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably only felt like forever because we were so anticipating it that in our minds it was forever. But no,
I watched it September 2013 because I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna download that shit if they're not gonna provide it to me.
The majority of us did, yeah, and that's how we heard the song in Japanese, the one that plays at the end of the movie.
I know I've complained about this before.
I don't think we mentioned it yet on this.
They do the international version of Flo singing in English. There's even a thing when you pop in the Blu-ray that's just so you know, no matter what language track you select, the international version of the song will play. This is due to licensing reasons. That's bullshit, because then in video games, they use it. They use the original Japanese version.
Really?
Yeah, a bunch of Bandai Namco games, use the Head Chala by Flo, or use Hiro or Kibo no Uta in original Japanese. It's why didn't you spring for this, Funimation? You dick butts. God.
What a freaking shame, because it just does not hit as hard.
They do the same shit with Resurrection F.
English is bad. It really is English, and sometimes music sounds better when you don't know what they're saying. A lot of hip-hop music I listen to, and pop music, it's when you start listening to the lyrics, you're like, oh, that's saying that? I don't enjoy the song as much, but...
I don't think it's so much that, especially for this. I think they're lacking the confidence to sing what they're singing.
You think? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, either way, there's definitely a different feel to it, and the Japanese hit of it is fantastic.
Jake Pay says, this is peak Dragon Ball content. Super entertaining story. Expands the lore for the literal multiverses. Shows just how fun the new villains and animation can be. And has one of the best insert songs of all of Dragon Ball Z. Battle of Gods is a tie with Super Broly as the best movie, in my opinion. Oh man, I really wish I felt that way again.
I think in retrospect, I don't feel that way at all anymore. That's all Super's fault.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the addition of the different universes, because at this point, with all of the gods that we've explored, it was there's nobody for Goku to one-up anymore, or to aspire to. And now that we have all this, it's literally opening the doors to so many new opponents and things that could happen, which they did that in Super. and they continue to. It's good. I like it.
I don't. I hate the multi-universes. The only thing that came out of it, like you said, was good was Kayla and Khalifa, maybe Kaba, but I can't tell you one single other character in the other universes that I care about. If I have to see those 3 fucking Wolf brothers again, I will
Trio
scream.
de Dangers?
Oh my god, is that what I don't even know what they were called. It's just nothing was creative about any of those characters.
I can feel that. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how things go.
We won't. They're dead, aren't they? I didn't finish the tournament. They all died, right? No one, even Goku, they're all dead?
Yeah, the show's over. They're all dead.
Yes, thank God.
The next episode is just skeletons.
I think I would have I'd rather have movies than TV episodes.
I mean, considering how shoddy all of the TV production has been for Super, I don't blame you, because the movies turned out to be pretty good.
I would say the inverse. If it was that way, if we just got movies and not TV, I think I would have been like, no, give me more episodes instead. But now having both, I'm like, no, I'd rather just have movies.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Man, do you want some trivia?
Yeah, hit me up with some trivia.
Sweet. I got 2 for you, because the third one I already know you know, and I told it to you during the movie because it was clear that you already knew. So
it's that thing where like I start mentioning things while watching it, like, oh, and Randy's like, oh, that was gonna be a question I was gonna ask you, but you clearly know the answer to it now.
Question number 1. What Dr. Slump character's outfit is Yamcha wearing in this film?
Oh, the dude that looks like Yamcha in the Dr. Slump. I don't know the names, but...
Yeah, it's Tsukutsun Soon.
You wanted me to say that name? Come on, dude. We had a conversation about how I don't know any Japanese person's names except for Akira Toriyama.
It's what he wore in the 1997 Dr. Slump remake.
But he looks like Yamcha, doesn't he? Like, he has that
he super does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
And then the other one, talking about music. What was the first Dragon Ball video game to feature Flo's version of Head Chala?
Shit. Some sparking game?
Nope.
What is it?
It's Battle of Z.
Oh, I forgot all about Battle of Z.
As you should, it's bad.
Horrendous that came out to be. Man, that game was the best in the 3 seconds where you synced up the fight animations with the other characters, but everything before and after that is complete garbage. But those 3 seconds, those are the best Dragon Ball video game moments I've ever had in my entire life when you sync that up. You know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all.
I forget a lot about the game, but there's just that's what I remember. I remember that feeling like of me syncing it up, and it was such a magical moment.
I just played like the demo they put out, and I'm like, wow. This sucks.
I mean, of course, you couldn't play with other people. The point was to play with other people and join forces to fight the CPU or whatever, but the internet was so bad that you couldn't connect with anybody anyway. But with the CPU, you could.
It was dumb that certain characters were certain classes, and that's that. So it's like, if I wanted to main as somebody, like, I think there was like a version of Gohan. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, he's a support, like, healer character. I'm like, what? No.
Really? Dude,
yeah.
I don't recall any of that either. It was a bold attempt that failed horrendously.
Also, it looked ugly as sin. Those character models were terrible.
I'll still cherish it forever, though, those memories of those 3 seconds.
It also came out here before Battle of Gods did. So that was the first time we had a casting for Beerus and Whis in America.
Right. I recall that vaguely.
Yeah, it's wild. But also, yeah, in Battle of Z, they used the original Japanese version of Flo, which Funimation claims is impossible to do. So
we just can't do it.
Guess they're fucking miracle
Bandai
workers,
Namco
aren't
enters
they?
the chat.
Yeah, Jesus. Oh, man. Well, that's Battle of Gods. I'm sorry it wasn't a celebration of all things Dragon Ball, but we were just like, ugh.
We were hoping it was. We really were. And we weren't. We were both coming into it excited to see it. We were like riffing with each other, like, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great time.
Yep.
And we didn't sway each other's opinion during it. I never mentioned to you, right?
No, we didn't talk about our deep, deep feelings until like right at the end. We were like, yeah, this isn't doing it for me. And you're like, yeah, me neither. And I'm like, oh, good. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
So I urge you, if you guys felt the same way we did, take another viewing of the movie and tell us what you think. Or don't tell us what you think. I just want you to view it and see if we have the same feeling about it.
Or tell us, maybe next time, have some wine and watch it.
Have some wine. Don't watch this movie. Watch the 2008 special instead, and you have a way better time.
What would be an ideal way to experience the story again? If we like, it's this and like the Super episodes. I guess you could also play a video game. Although, like Xenoverse, the story for this whole part sinks.
Like, you want to combine all different forms of medium? media.
No, I'm just like, what's the best way to experience the story and see if it's good besides this movie? I'm like, video games? No, it's not good.
I think video games are actually a big problem with how a lot of people view Dragon Ball Z, because it's a bite-sized version that everyone played. So everyone's always confusing what's happening in the video games as to what's happening in the series. But
that's true.
I've noticed it a lot through my 20 plus years of fandom that it's like, yeah, no, that's in Budokai 1 and 2, but not in the series proper.
Yeah. Well, everybody, still, thank you for listening. If you turned off partway through this episode because we were being bummers, I get it.
Totally understand. Didn't want to be this way, but this movie...
Yeah.
Only way you can hate something is if you used to love it, and I used to love it.
We'll see how things go with Resurrection F. I do want to bring up that one's going to be a bit different, in that we're not going to watch the original cut of the film. We're actually going to be watching Anime AJ's supercut using Resurrection F and the episodes of Super in what he thought would be a better film. So I've never seen it before, and it's going to be really fun.
I haven't seen it either. I think I downloaded it when you first put it out because I'm like, oh yes, this is a hell yes, and then I just never got around to watching it again. But yeah, same. I mean, I trust Anime AJ with his knowledge of it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Take this movie that I didn't think was that good in the first place, and let's see how much better it can be.
let's see the Kai version of this movie, please.
Right, exactly. And you could tweet at us, you could email us. Everything is at We Got a Pod. I will say we got our first email this week. I got one.
And it wasn't from me.
Yeah. It wasn't from you. No. It was somebody else. It was wild. It was by a man named Tom. So, Tom, you're a new listener. Thank you so much. I hope this episode was not a bummer
from MySpace?
for you. Yeah, Tom from MySpace.
he's everyone's friend.
He is. He's our friend. He's our number one new listener. Everybody make sure to tell Doug to read the super manga. Come on, man.
You know, okay. I think now that we're cruising into these super movies, quote-unquote super movies, you're seeing why I don't give a shit about anything super related.
We'll do something sometimes, or I'll talk to somebody.
You've been saying that for the past 30 episodes. What episode are we on now? 23?
23. Yeah. Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track Kakarot theme hip-hop track remix. You can find it and other great tracks by Rifti on his SoundCloud. Thanks to our sponsors. Doug, where can the fine people find you?
Jabaz Doug on all social media.
Rad. And I'm at Saber_Breaker. So thanks again. Please subscribe to the show. Tell your friends. Post a review. Helps us out, and we love it. And get vaccinated and have a good time.
Ja, mata ne.